Have you ever thought about why some people with less talent become famous while others with more talent fade away? The greatest samurai in history, Miyamoto Musashi, told everyone a long time ago, "It's not ability that gets you to the top, it's drive." Watch this video to learn why self-discipline, drive, and a strong sense of purpose will always get you further than natural ability ever could. Reason 1. Motivation builds resilience after inevitable failures. Failure is an inevitable part of any important trip. It brings down the haughty, tests the resolve of the cocky, and humbles the cocky. Miyamoto Musashi's life is a great example of this idea. When he was 13, he fought his first duel against an experienced samurai. This showed him that persistence and unwavering determination are more important than talent alone. As an example of the power of motivation, Musashi's raw intensity in that fight showed that ability can win one battle, but motivation is what drives people to get back up after each loss. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is an important part of both. People who count on their natural talents often fail when things go wrong because their sense of self-worth is tied to what they think are their natural gifts. People who are motivated, on the other hand, see loss as a good teacher and a way to grow as a person. Musashi's theory, "From one thing, know 10,000 things," sums up this strong way of thinking, in which setbacks are seen as chances to learn more and not as ends. Being motivated makes you stronger, giving you the strength to deal with rejection and suffering. It makes people look for lessons in their mistakes, changing the story from one of victimization, "Why did this happen to me?" to one of growth, "What can I learn from this?" People who are motivated take on problems head-on because they know that each problem makes them stronger and more determined. On the other hand, people who aren't motivated may give up after the first problem. Musashi's life shows that being successful isn't about being perfect, but about being persistent. He wasn't naturally strong, but he had an inner drive that made him strong. True fighters and high achievers all have this trait, an unwavering will that no setback can destroy. Ultimately, ability may win a single battle, but motivation is what leads to long-term success. Reason 2. It drives the consistent practice that talent alone neglects. The story of the famous swordsman Musashi is used to show the difference between ability and motivation in the pursuit of mastery. It says that ability may get you ahead at first, but consistent, disciplined practice is what keeps you ahead and builds on your talent. Musashi's theory is based on the idea that you can't just get better sometimes. You have to work at it every day. His famous quote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men," sums up how he saw personal growth as an ongoing process. The next part of the case criticizes the common belief that talent alone is enough to be successful. It shows that there are a lot of talented people who don't reach their full potential because they don't practice regularly. Musashi thought of the way as a path of mastery that lasts a lifetime and is built through practice, self-reflection, and humility. He understood that stopping practice leads to going backwards, so he knew that motivation was important for keeping up the work, especially when growth wasn't clear right away. The story shows how important it is to have a motivated mind by talking about how driven people show up and work hard because they see it as a privilege rather than a chore. This dedication changes their skills and makes them stand out from people who are just skilled. People say that Musashi's skill with a sword came from working hard over and over again, which also made him mentally and spiritually strong. In other words, the text says that talent fades without consistent work, while motivation is the key to making progress, no matter how fast it happens. In the end, Musashi's lessons support the idea that mastery is not something you are born with, but something you earn by being dedicated and consistent. Reason 3. Motivation turns obstacles into challenges to be solved. Everyone faces problems that come up out of the blue and get in the way of their progress. Most people use these problems as an excuse. For those who want to, they turn into problems to be solved. In his life, Musashi had to deal with many problems, including fights against stronger opponents, times when he was alone, and the constant conflict between the physical and mental worlds. He never thought of these things as problems, though. Those people taught him. He thought that every problem was meant to test and improve the fighter inside him. He wrote in the Book of Five Rings, "Do not try to get goods or fiefs for your old age." The fighter shouldn't hold on to life, but should use it to gain power. He just meant that problems don't matter as much when your goal is bigger than your happiness. Motivating yourself turns problems into chances to grow. When things don't go as planned, when success is easy, people with a lot of talent often fail when things get tough. But motivation grows when things go wrong. When things get hard, it says, "I will find a way." Every problem makes you more creative when you're driven. What you do instead of complaining is change. You don't give up, instead, you plan. The skill that Musashi learned was how to make the most of his surroundings, his situations, and even his flaws. He never stuck to one style or tool when he fought. He was always changing based on what the situation called for. He was able to change because he was driven and wouldn't let problems hold him back. This kind of mental freedom comes from being motivated. Your mind learns to stay calm under stress, to see past the obvious, and to discover new ways to move forward. You don't give up when you face problems. They become tests of your spirit. People who don't give up are more likely to succeed in life than those who are very good at what they do. With drive, "I can't" turns into, "How can I?" Musashi didn't complain. He looked for ways to make things better. Every problem he faced made him smarter, more determined, and better able to understand the way. With the right attitude, every obstacle can be turned into a stepping stone when you're driven. Reason 4. It fuels a passion for lifelong learning and adaptation. Smart people think they know everything they need to know. People who are driven want to learn more. Miyamoto Musashi knew that success is not a place you get to, it's something you do for the rest of your life. He thought there was always something new to learn, even when he was very successful. "It may seem hard at first, but everything is hard at first," he wrote. His thoughts are shown in these words: "Learning never ends, and people who stop learning stop growing." What keeps you open to new lessons is what drives you. Being curious, humble, and open to change are all things that it gives you. Someone who is driven never says, "I made it." They should instead ask, "What can I do next to make things better?" Talented people often get stuck in their pride. They think that their natural skills make them better, so they stop learning, stopping to observe, and stopping to grow. They become out of date over time. They are no longer part of the world as it changes. But the driven are not the same. They change over time. They read, learn, ask questions, and try things out. Failure is a teacher for them, change is a friend, and learning is something they will always be with them. This way of thinking makes people smart, up-to-date, and ahead of the curve. Musashi changed all the time. He learned many ways to fight over the course of his lifetime, including the famous 2 swords as 1 move. He learned more than just martial arts. He also learned to paint, carve, and write calligraphy. He was more than just a fighter because he was interested in everything. It made him an artist, a philosopher, and the master of life itself. This is the power of motivation. It makes your world bigger. It makes you want to discover all of your possibilities. It makes you willing to learn from everyone and brave enough to try new things. Musashi thought that these ideas could be used in all fields, like how to plan a war strategy in art, leadership, and everyday life. Motivated people see these links because they are always trying to learn more. You can only be talented with the things you already have. Motivation never ends because it keeps growing, changing, and adding to itself. No matter how the world changes, it lets you keep learning, adapting, and doing great. The most important thing that Musashi taught us is that the way to mastery never stops. Drive keeps you going down that road, where you're always moving, learning, and growing. Reason 5. Unmotivated talent gets passed by hardworking, driven individuals. Many bright people never reach their full potential due to not wanting to use their abilities. Mastery in martial arts comes from discipline, patience, and drive, not just being good at something. The driven person is often the smartest, but they keep going when others give up. Musashi, a martial artist, understood this and worked hard to improve his skills. He was not born into a royal family or trained in a special way, but he worked hard and never gave up. Many of his opponents were better at the game but lost because they weren't as determined or smart as he was. Motivating people builds energy, makes them more dependable and tough, and keeps going forward when others give up. This steady work turns into skill over months and years. Talent that isn't driven quickly fades, as they rely on their natural skills to get through. However, motivation can grow on its own, giving strength where there is weakness, energy where there is none, and hope where there is doubt. Musashi's success is a testament to the power of hard work and motivation. People who work hard become legends, and the flame of effort lasts longer than the spark of ability ever could. Drive is what makes people equal, and those who work hard become legends. Reason 6. Motivation inspires and lifts up the people around you. Motivation is a powerful force that inspires others, making them believe they can do better. Musashi, a renowned figure in Japanese martial arts, not only fought battles but also encouraged others through his writings and lessons. His teachings have helped warriors, artists, and thinkers for centuries, demonstrating humility, wisdom, and leadership. Motivated individuals are driven to make a difference and inspire others, making them look up to them. Their bright fire makes everyone around them feel better, and they remember that change is possible through growth. Musashi's work lives on today, as his drive went beyond personal gain and became a theory or way of life. Motivation brings people together, leading to growth and the development of groups and teams. A group's drive can move them all forward, and when a person is driven, they make others feel better and have hope in their strength. To be a real fighter, one must master themselves and help others rise with them. Musashi taught us that success is not just about skill, but also about spirit. The spirit moves forward with the help of motivation, shaping not only one's future but also the futures of everyone they meet.